Good up.
This is Channel 253.
On this episode of the Grit and Grain Podcast.
You have someone in your backyard. You have multiple people in your backyard growing, processing, shipping, and lovingly creating all of these different raw materials building blocks for you. So you're already using the top finishing components, but we all know the majority of the beer is this.
Right.
It's your cereal. You're making oat juice and your oatmeal juice and you're boiling it. That's what you're doing.
It's true.
It's true. So use really good grains.
So they hired you as a salesperson, or?
Wait, I know.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you.
Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, where we explore and celebrate the craft beer industry, community, and history in Tacoma, Washington, and surrounding Pacific Northwest areas. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's get to it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Grit and Grain Podcast, coming to you guys from Peaks and Pints in Tacoma, Washington. Woo! Huzzah! Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out, and hopefully you guys are cracking a beer for this one, because it's going to be fucking awesome. Yes! My name is Matt McLaren. I'm here as always with Ron Swerner.
Your voice is getting better.
I don't know. It's
been
a whole week. It's been a whole week.
Yeah.
Husky Matt.
It's been a whole yes, bro. I grew up husky, Matt. Thank you. Somebody wrote that on the bathroom wall when I was in elementary school.
No, let me clarify. Husky voice.
Our resident pro brewer and line cleaner, Bethany Carlson, is also on mic. How's it going, Bethany?
Thanks for cleaning the lines.
I love that.
That's 100%. You're the only one of us that's actually made beer professionally. So. That's what I should be saying every single time.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm great. How are you guys?
Very good, very good. Phaedra, thanks for being on mic today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is an episode we've kind of joked about doing for a while, and it's probably long overdue, and I'm super pumped for it. Our guest today is Leslie Shore.
So excited.
Yeah, you are here. Thank you so much. We're so excited. This was we were kind of joking with if you guys listened to the last episode, the absolutely fantastic Charlie Devereaux was on. We've joked about the fact that we've had a lot of folks on who he was connected with in one way or another, and I feel the same way about you. So it's a great day of like bringing this stuff together. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're an awesome supporter of the craft beer scene in this state. You're always at everything, including the Earth Day beer walk.
That was so much fun yesterday. There's the last one will be this Saturday. It's going to start at Bazaar. So
nice.
Anyone that wants to participate in that, look it up.
That's cool.
Okay.
Man, there's, I'm sure, a ton of stuff to cover because you've done lots of stuff in this industry. And it was Drunk Herstory not that long ago,
right.
which you absolutely killed.
Thank you.
So
and we were drunk.
That shit too.
That's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
I know.
Kind of required.
You were sober enough to do some heavy lifting, though. We all saw it.
That was
I keep
incredible.
myself at this level here, and once I get off the stage, it's like.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a very
Time for the full
professional.
pint.
Very professional approach to Drunk Herstory.
Well, Rachel and I always joke that she's the wild card and I'm the straight card.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
how it
like,
happened.
Yeah,
That's exactly how it
That's pretty
was.
much how it is
Sounds about
every
right.
year.
It was amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
Fun trip.
Well, yeah, shit. What are we drinking? Leslie, what are you drinking?
Actually, I'm drinking this really well-crafted lupulin delight from this very small brewery in Santa Rosa in California.
You might have heard of it.
You might have heard of
You
them.
may
not.
have heard of this. I mean,
Bethany, what are you
Pliny.
drinking?
Yeah, I was going to say, inside joke,
Yep.
it's Pliny.
I have Lumberbeard Pray for Sun
Why'd you grab that?
dry hot pills because I'm assuming it has Cold Stream Malt in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it does. Yep. crap
Bethany's way
malt
more
says.
professional than the rest of us.
She's telling us who she is.
And I've also got Narrows West Coast pills in front of me
good.
as well. Yeah.
Good call. Ron, what are you drinking, man?
I'm drinking the new Bellbreaker Nebula Juicy Hazy. It's really juicy.
Oh, yeah?
Delish.
Good. It's in the name, so.
Yeah.
Cool. Bethany actually gave me a pour of that Pray for Sun as well, which is, I
snagged a
appreciate.
little, too.
Did you?
I did. And then there's the rice lager. Remind me who's... Wait, no. Whose is it?
It's Wayfinder.
It is Wayfinder. Okay.
Which I'm also drinking.
Jaws of
I can't remember.
Damnation.
It's like, oh.
It's... You can
Wait,
see...
so we were just fucking talking to that guy.
I know.
I can see
just
everything
didn't
through
remember
it.
Get with the
that.
program, Phaedra. Holy crap.
I'm never with the program, guys. Never. Have you not met me?
So yeah, we're drinking beer that has Cold Stream Malt in it because that is what you're doing these days. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a brewery consultant and project manager at Cold Stream Malt and Grain, which is great. I do help out with sales and facilitating building those relationships, but at the end of the day, it's redefining what this company is. It's such a new company. It's 5 years old, so we're really looking at what does that growth trajectory encompass for the next 5 years.
Sure.
You know, like we are partnered with Link out in Spokane Valley, and Link has their own very small, well, not very small, but small compared to the malt house that we use for our base malts. They have a 9-ton facility, which is nice, and it's very plentiful. And they do a lot of the smaller turns and batches if we're trying to tweak something,
Right.
as well as taking care of our financial obligations and all of our payment processing and all of our logistics and shipping. So we're very co-branded in that respect. We do a lot of fun stuff throughout the year, Grainmaker being, like, I think the pinnacle. Like, so if you don't know what Grainmaker is, ask your favorite brewer, they'll know. We raise money for the Barley Fund for WSU with this, and it is a beer festival that is put on out in Spokane with lots of different breweries throughout the western United States.
Right.
And we pair people together based on basically vibes or how we feel about them. That's pretty much the metric. And
The
we
list
ask-
is usually
the
insane.
list is usually pretty insane.
Yeah.
And all that we ask is that they produce a beer with our grain in it. And it doesn't have to be something very specific, but it's Spokane in August. It's over 100 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And so many one-way streets.
So barley wines, please.
so please, more like pastry stouts and barley wines.
When is that this year?
It is the first full weekend of August. So the 8th, 9th, and 10th, I believe. I'm not super sure.
We're free this year.
Let's do it.
Cold beer week.
No, that's right.
Mark this.
Yeah. We're field tripping over to hang out
Field
with you
trip.
guys.
And then, so that's on a Friday. And then Saturday, all of the brewers decamp to our farm out in southern Spokane, out
sounds
around
amazing.
Latah.
Right.
And we have a massive marquee out on the field. We have a pyramid of kiddie pools with beers and LaCroix and
Malting
waters.
man.
It is malting man. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There are no human sacrifices, though. So. Tamp those expectations.
Oh my gosh.
But we have like a big old slip and slide, and we have combine rides. We have the kids taking everyone out to the fields and jumping on the combine and going for a ride during a wheat harvest. We have a massive cookout that Link Co-op, so the food portion of Link, helps supply a lot of meat and produce. And then we raid Costco, and it's
sounds
just
amazing.
So
full-on
much fun.
cookout.
Oh my
There's
gosh.
spontaneous music,
Yeah.
and it's
Sounds
just a
great.
good hang. And everyone brings their camping gear and camps right there in the field. And it's just a really nice way to decompress, and it's great for relationship building and deepening.
Totally.
So everyone really gets to, talk to that brewer from a brewery that you admire, but you've never been able to get in front of or get FaceTime with. Well, now we're all in the same common situation. We've all produced a beer that we love. We're all sharing it with folks that we love but have not met yet. Now we do. And we're all hanging out, playing pickleball or hanging out in another kiddie pool or drinking or breaking out a banjo or going on a slip and slide and basically just having a great time. And usually there's a meteor shower at night. So
Oh, that's the Perseid time.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
Magical
for sure.
beer
Yeah.
event you could ever go to.
and it's really great because a lot of brewers can really say, you know what, I've always wanted to make. Yeah, me too. Let's do that. So a lot of unintentional
Nice.
collaborations have come out of it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really great. For a couple of years now, just to set an unintentional collaboration out there, myself and Rachel, who's a director of relationships at Cold Stream, she and I have been talking about doing a Pippi Longstocking beer with the gals and pals at Steeplejack.
Sick.
And
that is
so
cool.
in February, we went down to Portland and we brewed the first of a series of Pippi beers. So
That's so cool.
it's going to be pretty great. I mean, it's
That's
only going to
fun.
be on draft, but that's more of a reason to go visit
Right.
Steeplejack and
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
them. I mean,
Yeah.
Drink a beer, one of those beautiful places you can drink a beer.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. So great.
So
Yeah.
it's definitely not open to the public, but it is invitation only. And I might know somebody if you guys are interested.
Yeah, we'll get our media passes and we'll
Yeah.
just, you know.
We're interested. We're interested.
We're interested.
How many years has that been going on?
This is the fourth year now.
Okay.
Or it's the fifth year. It's definitely up there.
Fun.
Yeah. So we're
That's awesome.
we're actually like trying to make sure that it's better every single year. So
That's so cool.
Very cool.
yeah, and it's a great way to see that part of the state because a lot of folks, especially from California and brewers from Oregon, don't really get out there, and to get out there and see like just the community that we all have between our Washington brewery friends and our developing Spokane area brewery friends, it's pretty impressive. Because I think a lot of folks, depending on where you are located, you can get siloed into what is acceptable brewery relations. Like, well, I really don't want to help out those guys. Well,
Yeah.
here it's not an option. We help each other out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all need this right now. So
Especially right now.
especially right
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
It's really easy to think about like, you know, if the pool is draining, there's only so much water left for me. But it's like, no, let's all just refill the pool as much as we can together.
Yep, absolutely.
We talk about Spokane a lot, actually. I mean, I work with Brad and the Lumberbeard guys, and we've also brought Yaya over here, and like, there's a lot of really talented brewers in Spokane, and it's a lot of great beer that just doesn't really leave that zip code
That's
very
true.
often.
That's true.
Most folks are familiar with like Whistle Punk, but like, I mean, just fantastic. But like, For the Love of God is out there. Humble Abode does a fantastic job. There's really great breweries that like, you would be surprised that you just don't have access to them over here because they really would hold up. And I feel like that's really cool too. Is like you said, it's a kind of part of Washington that totally. It feels almost removed entirely from Western Washington. It's like you're in a different state. But it's still a PNW. There's still Washington breweries. You just don't see them as often. So it's cool that you guys give those breweries a chance to be exposed to like really talented brewers who come in from out of state.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun because we do a little trial thing as well. Like the three of us, myself, Rachel, and Brian, just returned from San Diego, where we did a mega collab. This time it was hosted at Harland, and it was a bunch of Washington State breweries, so Ravenna, and then the main folks out in Spokane, so Whistle Punk, et cetera, and Single Hill.
Oh, cool.
And then we had about over a half a dozen more Southern California, San Diego area breweries, and it was just epic. Last year, Taproom graciously hosted this, and then this year, Harlan was like, well, "What about us? You know, what are we?
We want to be on the list.
Their facility is fantastic. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have another collab with Harland coming up for Grainmaker as well. So, just all those really cool San Diego folks who came up for Grainmaker last year saw how incredibly tightly knit, but well lubed, I guess, our beer community is up here, where we actually do help each other, and it's mainly supported by Underberg, let's be honest.
That would be the lubricant is Underberg.
It's
Isn't that your profile pic?
It is. It's an espresso. It's an espresso teeny.
Yeah. Which is, you can't get here. Like, what the fuck?
No, because I'm, special.
Is Grainmaker a West Coast thing?
It is a West Coast thing.
Okay.
We really haven't branched out in inviting Eastern folks just
or
yet.
Florida.
Or I would love to get my Florida friends
Yeah.
Dude,
up
prison
into
pals up here,
this.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so nice to have Diego come up here.
Dude.
Yeah.
That'd be
Those guys
great.
make an awesome beer.
That's where you cut your teeth, is Florida.
In Florida, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, let's hear about you and your history and
Yes,
this whole
yes.
community and industry because
Oh my God.
Tell
Yeah.
us, tell us.
let everyone know.
Okay. Well, buckle up.
We're buckled.
So I started off by home brewing, and like a lot of folks do, my husband got really, well, I'm not saying this makes him sound like he's not a nice person when in fact he's the most incredible, supportive person in the universe. He basically was like, you know what? Every time we go out and you complain that you can't find something that you want to drink, I just want you to make it yourself. Because
Nice.
Florida at this time had a very outdated packaging law. So a lot of American beers could not be sold in Florida due to AB InBev's stranglehold on the packaging laws of alcohol being sold. So we could get a lot of European beers, in which we did. We had a lot of Belgian beers, a lot of UK and Irish beers, continental beers, and some American beers, but not a lot, because a lot of folks aren't ascribing to these very specific sizes.
Right.
So Jeb Bush was the president of the Florida Restaurant Association at the time. I'm really going off on a tangent.
Yeah,
That's
you
all right.
I love it.
We're in there.
I'm
And he
here
was-
for it.
Ready.
And he said, you know what? We're losing tourist dollars, which means we're losing bed taxes from our hotels,
Totally.
which means we're losing additional revenue for our state parks, and not just the woo-woo theme parks, but also our beautiful, gorgeous Florida state parks. And it's all down to this very restrictive size that is consistently lobbied against reformation by our AB InBev lobbyists.
Right.
We need to cut this down. So that was a hard battle. It was won. And then within a year, we started getting in Stone and Sierra Nevada and Shinerbach. And this is in the very early 2000s.
Yeah, which is, I think people don't understand like the window that was.
Very,
like,
very tiny.
You literally weren't getting like the most popular beers
No.
in the country
No.
at that time because of this law.
Wow.
And so a lot of the beers that I grew up drinking were Guinness or Newcastle.
Not the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Not-
Guinness is pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're not complaining.
however, once I had Sierra Nevada
Yeah.
for the first time within Florida, I was like, whoa, what?
What's this?
This is great.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this.
So, he buys me a homebrew kit, and I start homebrewing, and I kind of like it. It just seems super intuitive. I very much liken it to cooking. I love to cook, and for homebrewing, there's definitely not a lot of physics involved. You don't need to have a very intrinsic understanding of facilities maintenance or even gas pressures or high pressure systems.
Just need a thermometer.
Just need a thermo. So then getting into that, there was a homebrew store that was 100 miles away from us, and that was straight down in Tampa, and we're 100 miles south.
Jesus.
And my only day off at the time was on a Sunday. So we would drive up to Tampa, we would go have a couple of beers here and there, and then we'd stop by the homebrew store, I'd pick up my ingredients, and I would get chatting with the lady that was the manager and the guy that was the owner. And it got to the point where I was getting very frustrated with everything, and I just felt like I really wanted to get a foothold wherever I could. So I jokingly said, so yeah, you want me to start on Tuesday, or what's this look like? And he was like, wait, what? Would you? And I was like, yeah, why not? Fuck it. And he's like, all right, see you Tuesday. Fully thinking that I wouldn't show up on Tuesday. I rolled up on Tuesday, and I was like, cool, where's the keys to the door? Where's your manifest list? Where's this? Where's this? And I started working there a couple days a week. So that was a long drive.
I was going to say
3 hours
you said
commute.
100 miles.
Commuting, yeah.
Was that Boots?
That was Boots.
Yeah.
100 miles.
100 miles every day.
Love it.
So that was fun. And then,
Good Lord.
but that was a couple
it-
days a week.
Were there a lot of people that would come in?
Yeah, Sunday
it
was the
was busy.
busiest day. Saturday was a busy day.
Sure.
And then after about a month, I started running the place.
Oh, my gosh. Of course you did.
They were like, thank God.
I'm sorry. Did you want somebody competent? Which sounds really shitty to say because the lady that was running it was not incompetent, but she just wasn't in it. Do you know what I mean? She just wasn't.
Yeah.
She was just like, I'm just doing this because
job.
I just need a job.
Yeah.
And then he got together with a couple of his friends and said, hey, we're going to bust through this unit. Oh, I should say that this was in an industrial park. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With a big blacktop parking lot and a lake. So he was like, we're going to bust through this unit here and we're going to start a brewery and you're just going to be our brewer. No discussion or anything.
Wow.
Just like, okay, here we go.
I do kind of like that he pulled
This
the
is
Onu reverse because you
awesome.
like didn't give him a choice on you working there. And
Right.
he was like, hey, listen, if we're just going to match energies about this, guess what?
So here we are.
So we busted through that unit, and I said, "Cool. Well, what kind of system are we getting? Is there like a pub system from a place that's going out, or what?" And he was like, "No, we got something. It'll be great. You'll love it." I'm like, "Will I?" He's like, "Yeah, sure you will."
I'm nervous for you.
I am too. I'm sweating.
You should be. Do you need a fan? Because it's gonna get hot
Okay.
and dangerous. So, 6 100-gallon igloos on a cart
Oh no.
were my mash tuns.
Get the fuck out.
No.
I won't get the fuck out of here. You invited me.
Sick. Oh.
Dude, homebrewers don't even do that anymore. That's insane. He's like, you just do what we do in the garage, but like more, right?
But bigger.
Right. And there are no locking casters on these 2 carts.
Oh my
So
God.
it's chopped. The kettles were on a fabricated strut frame with a tin roof. There were 6 jet burners and 6 55-gallon stainless steel drums. And we drilled through and put some little 1-inch tri-clamp fittings on the bottom. And we had a chugger pump. And the only way I could control that flow was to choke it. There was no freak drive. There was no nothing.
It's a little early for the fuck up story.
You know what? This is not a fuck up story.
Did you brew?
This is a villain origin story.
Thank you. So anyone out there that hates me, this is why.
Yeah, this is where my attitude comes from.
Yeah. So this also had no locking casters, and I had to chalk them because the incline was about 2 to 5 degrees.
They like stole a Home Depot cart and like put fucking igloo coolers, and they were
mean,
like,
God.
"This is it."
We're doing it.
They knew you were amazing. They're like, whatever we give her, she'll just brew. It'll be great.
And you know what? You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
But here's the thing. This is when the internet was still super baby new. So there was no way for me to figure out, okay, what do I record? What are my safety considerations? What do I do in this situation? Or how do I clean this effectively without, injuring myself? So it was a lot of thinking or overthinking and being like, okay, I should probably wear long sleeve pants and closed-toed shoes that have good grip. And I should probably wear a long sleeve shirt. And I should probably put my hair back and put a hat on. And it's Florida.
Yeah.
It's 95 degrees most of the year. Yeah. It's 90% humidity most of the year. And every day on the dot at 3:30, it rains. Massive thunderstorm. Thunder, lightning, the whole deal. So that meant I had to be there before 5 a.m., living 100 miles away. Which means, there's not a lot of places open except for the gas station. Gas station food isn't that good. I'm just going to reaffirm that for everyone. And that was every day-ish doing that or doing some kind of basic cellar work when I didn't understand how this worked or that worked and just figuring out on my own, which meant I took a lot of notes.
Sure.
And taking a lot of notes on a brew log would be, this is the weather conditions for today. Because I don't know if that may affect something down the line. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And you would do that when you're home brewing outside anyway, just so you have that for your records. At least, well, I did, because I'm that way. Awesome. And that lasted for over a year until the guy's partner decided to put everything up his nose. And it was like, why can't I not buy ingredients? And what do you mean there's no glycol in this 3-barrel bright tank?
Dang.
And Florida, baby.
I lived in Florida.
You know it.
4 years in Florida.
You know how it is. And this is pretty great, right?
Oh my gosh.
So, and then I was like, wait, why am I not getting paid? Same reason. Rut-row is right.
Yeah.
And then, so after being let go like that, it was a gut punch because I felt like, okay, even if I don't stay here forever, then, I can use this to build like my arsenal of knowledge. I just didn't expect it to be like this, so unceremonious, to feel like I'm just being tossed aside.
Right.
And after spending all of that time and driving 3 hours a day and getting my oil changed every month and getting a new tire every 6 weeks and just like not making enough money just to buy groceries. So thank God my husband is like the most supportive person in the entire universe. Otherwise, I couldn't have done this by myself as a single person. That's not possible.
I think Steve Luke's quote on our podcast was, behind every great brewer is a very supportive partner.
100% accurate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay.
I'm sweating after listening to
I
that.
am too.
Are we in Florida?
I know.
Florida.
Turn up the air
Oh my
conditioning.
God. We're at break time already. We're gonna crack the fresh beer,
We are? We're gonna, yes.
and
We
then
gotta drink after
and then we're gonna get out of Florida.
Drink out of that. Get out of Florida.
You haven't even talked about Darwin, though.
One of the best experiences ever.
Never mind.
Yeah.
We're gonna get on that.
Stop. Wait.
Stick around for just a second. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, this is Eric Hanberg, co-founder of Channel 253 and host of Citizen Tacoma.
I'm Doug Mackey, the sound guy.
And we are here because we are asking for your support for Channel 253 with a membership. $4 a month or $40 a year truly helps us keep this operation going.
And if you're feeling particularly generous, we do have another level that is $253 a year.
That's right, the Tacoma level. Whatever level works for you, you can support us. Keep us going. Keep the podcast flowing. We truly appreciate your support. Channel253.com/membership is the place to sign up.
And if you're a member already, thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out during the break. As always, a shout out to Doug, our wonderful producer. Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you,
They
Doug.
sound wonderful each week. If you guys have not yet, please do go check out Channel 253 and stay connected to Tacoma in every way you can, including this wonderful network of podcasts. Thanks to Chris for putting us on video every week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris.
If you guys haven't yet, go to YouTube and find Great and Great Podcast. We're definitely not the woodworking
It's a big one.
show that is on YouTube. That lady's awesome. I subscribe to her now. She's also called Grit and Grain.
We're not her.
We're not her. We don't do crafts. At least not that kind.
We don't
Craft beer.
sometimes.
Different kind of crap.
So yeah, thank you guys so much. We have Phaedra. What is this?
This
dark
is the
beer
Matchless
for
Old
us?
Life wine.
2023.
Oh shoot! All right, I'm in.
Yes.
Thanks, Matchless.
This is
Yes,
lovely
it's
beer.
a delicious. Yeah.
We didn't do it last time, but cheers to Sean, Jack.
Yes, cheers to Sean.
Cheers.
Sean.
We love you.
These are too full to cheers.
I know,
That's why
seriously,
you
that was
guys didn't
so
hear
dangerous.
The clink if
Yeah.
you're listening.
Barley Wine Brunch is coming up
It is.
Oh yeah,
at the Parkway.
we're a couple weeks away from
Oh
Barley
my
Wine
God.
Brunch. Actually,
Is it sold out?
no, I think they have like a couple tickets
Couple.
left.
Well, that was a week ago though, so maybe they're gone.
It might be now.
Yeah, or a couple
Haven't
weeks
done that
ago.
in a while.
Anyway.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I took that whole next day off to recover.
You kind of have
You
to.
kind of have to.
Good plan.
It's like a lot of good food, and it's like 3 hours of like 35 different barley wines that are all so good.
And then you
Food
just
is
want to
so
go out
good.
and drink.
yeah, and everybody's like, "Hey, where are you going after
We
this?"
do.
Yeah, no one goes home.
day.
You
That's
don't
And then
go
it's
home.
nothing but
You don't
Pilsner
go home.
afterwards.
I know, dude. I feel like such
No,
a.
It's actually mixed
Then
drinks.
you move on to
I know.
cocktails.
Everybody gets to go, yeah.
You move on to
We're
old
gonna rum.
fashions
You guys
and
are
police.
hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like such a bitch around everybody at Barley Wine Brunch because I like, in general, I'm probably like, I don't know, 8 years younger at the least than most other people there.
Compared to me.
And all of you guys are like, where are we going after this? And I'm like, I'm going home to take a fucking nap. How are all of you doing this? Yeah, we're gonna go downtown after this and walk around. Why?
That's what you do.
Throw into it.
Yeah, you might be right. Dude, I felt this way at fucking HomebrewCon. I went to HomebrewCon like when I was 31 with like my best friend, and like him and I have spent plenty of time drinking together. And those 50-year-old homebrewers drink like nobody I have ever met in my fucking life. All their kids are off to college. They have expendable income, and they just go ham hock. It's insane. That's how I feel at Barley Wine Brunch, but it's always fun.
It's a good time.
All right, so we're the horror story of your origins in this industry aside.
Tell us about the good times.
The good times?
Yeah.
The good
next
times is when I got hired at Darwin,
Yeah.
which was an offshoot of a Peruvian fusion restaurant. So it's named after the chef de cuisine, Darwin Santa Maria, who is from a small town in the Amazonian rainforests called Iquitos. Fun fact, didn't know this until after I was hired and been working there for a few months, but he and my aunt are from the same town in the middle of the rainforest.
Seriously?
Seriously.
That's fucking insane.
That was wild.
Yeah.
It was absolutely wild.
I got goosebumps. I love
It's
stories
just,
like that.
it's just
Yeah,
like
that's
very
really
the
cool.
same thing. Like the hairs went up on my neck. I was like, wait a minute, you're from where?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's from there.
Yeah.
Okay, but
That's
he
so
is.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So this is still in Florida. We're
He's
still in Florida.
Yeah, so
Darwin.
Darwin is still
Okay.
in Florida. I think he was doing guest chefing in Los Angeles last week, but he's incredibly talented.
Sure.
So they had this 7-barrel pub system in the original restaurant in northern part of Sarasota. So we're getting closer to the house.
Just a little.
Love that.
Yeah.
So we they hired a brewmaster who had trained at Doman's, and he was from Cuba. This guy was so smart. He comes from a family of civil engineers. He knows how to do things, and his favorite thing to say to me was, "Chica, I'm lazy, so we are going to do things the lazy way." And I'm like, this is great. Did I just land in heaven? Perfect.
This is so different than 6 igloo mash tuns.
Right?
This is the actual opposite.
So we had a 15-barrel 2-vessel premiere, and we had that 7-barrel 2-vessel pub system in a brand new facility just north of the restaurant. So if anyone's familiar with the Gulf Coast of Florida, Bradenton is just north of Sarasota, and it was right across the street from the ballpark where the Padres, not the Padres, what's the one from Philly?
Grapefruit League from Phillies.
No, it wasn't them. The Pirates.
Pirates?
It was the Pirates. So the
Oh,
Pirates
for
played
spring break?
Yeah, for spring break.
Yeah.
So the Pirates would do their spring training there, and it was great. We had a wonderful time. The facility was beautiful. We had nightly farmers markets once a month every Friday because we had really nice grounds, and I made a beer for every farmers market with whatever I could get from our supporter farm. So like lavender or beets or whatever. It was always something fun. And because this brewery came from a culinary origin, I was able to do a lot of culinary styles on that 7-barrel system while Jorge and I were still doing like the bulk of the cores. So IPA, wit beer, brown imperials, Belgian doubles, that kind of thing. That's where I learned a lot of, okay, so all of this stuff that I've been doing without really a lot of information or training has really given me a solid foundation to reason out why I didn't kill myself unintentionally. So we're on the right track, Leslie. You're doing something right.
That is amazing.
And just having Jorge explain how things actually work in a plant management sense really flipped a switch in my brain. So thinking about how process improvement and process changes actually affect the end of your day. So any kind of time you can save at the beginning of the day greatly increases your chance of you getting out on time.
Sure.
Or even before. And that's where that lazy part comes in. Like we're going to use chemicals. We're not going to like do confined spaces, and we're going to do things the correct way.
Right.
Yeah. And also learned how to do multiple things at once. So brewing and flipping a tank. In like a real tank, like a unitank. Like
Actual tank made out of
With
metal.
pressures.
what? Hooked up to a glycol? What? That's crazy.
So is it really lazy or is it efficient?
He was efficient.
Yeah.
But that's his sense of humor.
Sounds like
And
he's a good mentor.
Yeah.
he's fabulous.
Yeah,
If
that's
anyone
awesome.
if anyone wants to get into brewing, travel back in time a whole bunch of years and go meet Jorge.
Do you keep in
Nice.
contact with him?
No, the last I heard, he's in upstate New York. He's got daughters, and
Yeah.
he's like, I can't
He's a
keep up with my
grown-up
daughter.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in his 50s, like all
Back
this.
then?
Yeah, so
He's retired.
yeah. Let the man sleep.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that ended up only being 70 miles away from my house.
Oh my.
Dude.
But at least you weren't brewing an igloo.
Right.
I wasn't mashing into igloos, and the Starbucks by our house was open, so I could actually like go in and get a coffee, and that wasn't a racetrack or a Wawa coffee. And there was a Culver's by the brewery, and so there was also this really great Caribbean, Mexican, Central American grocery store and restaurant really close to the brewery. And so like once a week, it was like one of us would go over there and just pick up a whole bunch of hot food and bring it back. And Jorge was really big on us doing family lunch, which fine with me.
Awesome.
Set that pump on and let's sit down and chow.
Yeah.
That
sounds
so
amazing.
just having that was always a huge bonus.
Dude,
Yeah.
the vibe shift between your first brewery job and this brewery
Oh
job
my God.
is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's pretty chill, right? Like this seems like an ideal working environment.
right.
Like I get to be creative on a small system. We get to do these monthly farmers markets at night, and there's the Pirates are playing across the street. I ended up doing a series of beer for the Pirates while they were in town. So for every single week, I released a different beer. And my husband was, at that time, he was a sports writer, and he came up with all of these names that were pirate related. And so it was an amber and a wit and a lager and a this and a this and a this. And
Yeah.
everyone came in across the street before they went across the street for the game.
Brilliant.
They would come in and be like, how do you guys know about our cool stuff with our pirate lingo and our this, that, and the other? And it's like, well, it's the brewer's husband. He just knows all these things.
Yeah.
And the biggest hit was the wit beer because everybody loves a
Yes,
nice,
for sure.
delicious wheat beer
Yeah.
Sure.
in March.
Yeah.
And he called it "We Are Family Wit." So if you are a Pirates fan, you would
Yeah.
know exactly what that means.
Totally.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Very
And then the
cool.
next smart thing to do is buy a house in Seattle, but still be in Florida.
100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Full of good decisions.
Let me tell you something. We're a little. Yeah. So we decided quite a long time ago we wanted to live here. And my husband had gone to Whitman, didn't like it, ended up at PLU. So he was at PLU forever.
Oh.
And he was a huge E9 fan forever.
I like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was
Probably.
thinking Seattle. So like PLU was just like that's like a deep kind
It's
of
right
like,
here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
we always knew
I
we
love
wanted
it.
to live in Seattle. And it was one of these times when we were here visiting, and we were getting ready to get on the plane that night, and Snowmageddon happened.
Oh, yeah.
So all of the bendy buses were crashed into each other. All of the cars were, stopped on the road. People were late, this, that, and the other. We missed
sure.
our flight back because they
4
grounded
inches of
everything.
snow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing. Like,
Well, I
do we
inadvertently
do?
earlier that day when we were walking around and I already had a few pints, I was like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go back to Florida. Stay here. So I started Snowmageddon. I'm sorry. So we found a house that we really like and put in an offer on it, and it was at the very bottom of the market. And we were incredibly fortunate to be able to do that. The fact that the fact that we were positioned favorably, I don't know. Rob Shore and I have the best luck. I don't know what to say. So we did that, and we rented out our house for quite a few years. And then when it became very uncomfortable in Florida, politically and temperature-wise, we decided to move here. And that's when Rubens made a post on I can't even remember what board it was. They're Brewbound.
Was it Brewbound?
Dang, thank you.
Ron knows everything.
We're looking.
He knows everything. It's true.
So we're looking, and I applied, and I was like, we'll be there like the week before Thanksgiving. They're like, no problem. And then that was it.
Wow. What year was this?
2015.
2015.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Which I believe was the first year that Rubens won gold at GABF for Goes.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, as a matter of fact, that's true.
Yeah. And guess what?
Welcome to rye beers.
Yes. Honestly, Roggenbier is one of my favorites, and the fact that a lot of folks aren't hyped for Roggenbier at Rubens is a little soul crushing, because their Roggenbier is incredible.
Yep.
I love it.
We just had a few weeks ago, Linda Sweet came down from Deep Draft and Gorst, and they love rye, and they make a lot of different Roggenbier styles. Like they do a dark one, they do a pale one, they do like all kinds. And she brought one in a crowler, and it's fucking, it's incredible.
It really is.
Like so food friendly, so different. You cannot believe that it's just a few ingredients in this beer. It's so complex.
Rye is one of those unsung ingredients that a lot of folks just simply are either aware of it or aren't aware of the possibilities with how it can be implemented. Because there are too many horror stories of beers that have rye in it that are undelicious, and that is a word.
Yo, that's the most solid PR coinage I've ever heard.
Hard to brew with. Yeah, it's a tricky malt.
It is a tricky malt. Though. It's important to know that like it is just tough to work with. Like getting the best out of not that rye is non-traditional, but like non-typical grains is really difficult. I on this topic, I work with an importer who brings beer in from Korea, and they make a lot of Korean craft breweries now are exploring buckwheat as an ingredient, similar to rye though, right? Like as a complementary ingredient. Where here, it's mostly just used by like gluten-free breweries to make gluten-free beer, but it's hard to get. Like there's a reason why barley is the main grain, and it's hard to work with other grains. But when you do it right and you do it really well, it's like incredible. And I mean, Rubens, I feel like is the king of rye at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they legitimately are, and it's something that for a while there, they were really leaning into utilizing a lot of rye beers, and they had Rye Fest for a couple of years in a row, which was fun. It was a lot of fun. Loved Rye Fest.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to. Not everyone. That sounds like I'm like dictating no, I'm not.
Be more open-minded to
Be
rye.
more open-minded to those alternative grain sources.
Don't worry. No,
How many years were you lead brewer there?
I was there for 7 years, 6 years. It was definitely over 5. And I'm at the age where I don't even remember how old I am.
Girl,
Same
thing.
I'm getting there
No
too,
idea.
actually.
No idea. Yeah.
Ask Arena once a month.
I have to ask somebody else.
It's gotten to the point where I was like, wait, how many? Take this,
What year
remove a
is it?
5.
Totally. Yeah. That's exactly my life. Yeah.
How was it being at Rubens when Goes was kind of popping off the way that it was?
That was pretty incredible, actually, because it was something that was new to a lot of folks' palates. What do you mean it's something that's sour and salty?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. And the fact that it was a big seller for so many years, that we were able to really improve with packaging it in a different format. So it went from just being on tap to being in cans.
Yeah.
And then we were able to push that out into the market, into off-premise. And then we were able to win another gold for it.
2 years in a row, which is
And
unbelievable.
that was insane.
Yeah.
Which at this time, I believe it was still in the historical category.
Yes.
And then it was the following year that everybody was making a goes, and they were like, actually, this is kind of its own thing now.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
is.
really, it's not historical anymore.
Yeah.
And we've joked before about this. It's a half joke, but honestly, I would say that Rubens is probably credited with removing goes from the historical beer category.
I
of
would
BJCP.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
They put a lot of marketing push behind it, not money wise, but just like how unapologetic it was for it to be on tap,
Yeah.
and how fun the taproom brewery smelled when we were making it. It smelled so bright. No, I'm not even.
No,
joking.
totally. Yeah, yeah.
It smelled so bright and very zesty and
Well, and just different from what you typically would walk into.
right.
When you would,
It's not porter, and it's not an IPA. So
Yeah.
it's a completely different, unique aroma factor. So,
But
it was-
Ropo was doing good.
dude, let me tell you something about Ropo. Ropo is my favorite beer.
Okay,
From Rubens. And I
Wait.
know, and I
Wait. Ropo for the people who don't
Robust
know.
porter.
Ropo.
I know, but I'm just saying, not everybody does.
And like, don't get me wrong, Rubens is
You're welcome.
very, very hop forward, and they are. I mean,
Totally.
their IPAs are very good, and a lot of folks come in just for those IPAs. But Ropo, that's the jam right there. It smells incredible when you're brewing it. It tastes incredible when you're drinking it. It's just happy all around, and you can't. I don't know. You can't drink it and be in a bad mood. And if you are in a bad mood when you start drinking it, you ain't anymore.
Yeah,
It's just good.
it's true. It's
I feel like this is verbatim what Larry was saying. When
yeah. I
about the beer
mean,
when he was
really,
on.
yeah. Wait, is Larry here? Is he here?
I know, right?
Right here.
Yeah.
I know. I love that. I have that. Yeah. No, great party.
Love you, Larry.
Semi-retired or fully retired?
Who, Larry?
Yeah.
Semi.
I'm going to say
Semi.
semi.
Yeah.
He's got a gig.
Kind of hit
He's got
around.
a gig.
He's got a gig.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, I'm not at liberty to discuss.
I work
but he's
with
got a
Larry
gig.
now.
Yeah. I love
I'm
it.
super happy to work with Larry now.
Yeah.
But also, he hasn't even started, and he's already a hard ass.
I know.
I love
Of course. Wait.
it. He's fucking texting me like, "Hey, are you gonna do this?" And I'm
Is
like,
he
"Hey,
really a
are you
hard ass?
fucking even started yet? Like, clock in, bro. It's not even May."
We love him.
Classic Larry.
I know. I love it. It's exactly what I love about it.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah, man. I feel like
I
we've
can't
only.
believe we're already there.
I know it's already fuck up story time.
Can you come back?
We didn't.
Yeah, it's the second
we
week
didn't
of-
make it to where you are now.
I know. It's like not enough time.
I know.
Yeah.
I was so ready to talk about malt.
I know.
We could just keep going.
I was robbed.
Studied up.
I'm
Refreshed.
sorry.
We can go straight back to malt, or we can tell a fuck up story. Who you choose, Leslie?
Oh, F-up story, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys. I really like talking about malt. And I think,
Honestly, so do we.
I think,
Is there
I think
an
my
F-up malt story?
for me, I mean, I got drunk with a bunch of higher ups at a previous job, and then fell asleep on a pallet of malt bags.
Honestly,
But I came into work and they didn't. So,
hey,
Yeah.
and I didn't screw anything up. No fuck ups.
Yeah.
No cavitations.
just a nap.
I love
Fucking
it.
hit all my numbers.
It's a nap.
And just
Yeah.
a nap.
That's not an F-up.
It's just a nap.
Just a nap.
I had an alarm.
A photo app now.
Yeah.
There you go. I like it.
Dude, my favorite story ever told in this podcast is Bethany's kiddo sleeping on malt
I
bags
have
when you were
been
opening a brewery.
Many a picture of Fern on malt bags
Oh.
sleeping.
Yeah.
Plus, I think my
Passed out.
villain origin story is
That is
that was
that qualifies.
That's yeah.
if you want it to be.
Yeah. I will ask. So, like, I mean, you've worked. Obviously, like we've talked about it too. You did a stint, very successful stint at Pike for a minute after Rubens as well, which was like sent a huge wave across the industry. How has it been being like on the raw ingredient side versus being on the production side?
Good question.
Thank you for that question. It is incredibly difficult transition, to be honest, because for so many years I was on my feet for 10 to 12 hours a day. And I had multiple processes occurring simultaneously, as well as maintaining rigorous safety standards, rigorous food quality standards, and taking care of plant management. So to not have that go, 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 and then abruptly stop,
Right.
that is really quite a physical shock to the system. And to go from that, where your mind is constantly and your brain is constantly stimulated and your muscles are constantly in motion, to, oh, I'm sitting in the backyard and what am I doing? Do I need to do the dishes? It was so strange.
I'm just sitting here waiting to solve a problem that might not even happen.
100%.
Like, yeah,
Why is my
totally.
phone not blowing up?
Yep.
I'm waiting for an email.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so going through that few months of slowing down and really taking stock of what's important and where things need to go. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of folks' dream to open up their own brewery, especially if you have a lot of experience and knowledge. No one's perfect, and no one has all of the knowledge, which is why, you always want to make sure that you're around like-minded people. Right. And a cultural hire is always going to be your best hire versus someone that has all of the qualifications on paper. So knowing Brian at Link and knowing Matt Holliker, one of the owners at Cold Stream Malt, and peripherally knowing Rachel Verhey-Goycochea at Cold Stream, used to be at Varietal. It was very interesting to get an email from them saying, hey, we have a thing happening and we'd like for you to be basically the expert. And we had a coterie of 13 craft brewers from mainland China come through last summer. And they were on a tour courtesy of the U.S. Grains Council. And they started off in the eastern part of the country and worked their way towards Seattle. And I met them in Montana, which was great. We got to talk a lot about the differences in American brewing styles and equipment versus what's popular on mainland China and what isn't. The difference in the quality of raw materials that they are able to purchase is completely different from what we are used to.
Sure.
Interesting.
And it's pretty insulting that they are not able to purchase grade A like we are. And not only did they bring their own samples, like cans, but they shared their own fuck-em-up stories and their own fun things. By the time we got to CLS Farms in Moxie, so CLS, the Desmarais, we love the Desmarais.
Yeah.
By the time we got there and did a field walk, they brought out all of their cans of beer and we all shared them in the rumpus room. And their beers put a lot of our beers to shame.
Really?
Their smallest breweries, are 120,000 barrel a year production. That's more than Georgetown. And these were the smallest craft breweries on mainland China.
That's insane.
It was an unreal, eye-opening experience to be talking with these folks about our common love, which is making incredibly delicious barley soda with lupulin delight and seeing people smile when they drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to know that their version or their numbers are so far extrapolated from what we consider to be a normal craft size, that really opened up a lot of eyes. And the fact that they were able to make incredible beer with
At that
B
scale.
and C grade raw materials.
Yeah.
And at that
quantity,
that
that
level.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, kudos to them. It was amazing. So now we have like really great, deep relationships. At this point, I didn't know it was a trial interview.
I love it.
Well, shit.
Damn. I really should have been on my best behavior. Kidding. Always. Profesh. So after Grainmaker that year, it was, hey, Leslie, what do you think about this? And I said, I think that's a great idea. I would love to come in and provide whatever assistance I can to help bring this part of raw material availability to not just this region of the country, but as well as to export it if possible.
Yeah.
And the fact that all of the grain is grown by two men on their two farms, and it is all dry land, it is all salmon safe, it is all global GAP certified, it is all heritage grains. So Franson is from Czechia, Steffi's from Bavaria. Like, we only deal with grains that will be incredibly adaptive to this climate of the Palouse. A lot of the other grains that are grown between the two of them are from land-grant colleges like WSU.
Sure.
So WSU has put out a lot of really great grains that are basically designed, for a lack of a better term, for our environment. So they don't require a lot of irrigation, they don't require a lot of fertilization or pesticides. They basically are perfect for this environment. So if you are already using hops from our backyard with their intricate terroir from whatever valley or whatever part of Yakima, Moxie, etc., they are grown, you're keeping everyone in that industry employed because you are purchasing those hops.
Right.
The same can be said for the folks that work in the local grain industry. You're keeping these land-grant colleges employed with their research on designing grains that are going to be better suited for more drought tolerance, more heat tolerance, and that's where we're drifting. But you're also keeping farmers, logisticians, maltsters, transporters, warehouse folks employed. So it's another segment of the population to keep employed. And if you're keeping your neighbors employed and you're using beautiful grains that not only tell the terroir that the hops are telling, you can make something really incredible. So to say that you're going to make a Pilsner, but you only want to use imported German grain, or you want to make a British brown, but you only want to use imported grain, that's fine. But those costs are going to increase even further. The carbon footprint is only going to get larger, and the freshness is only going to degrade. Versus you have someone in your backyard, you have multiple people in your backyard, growing, processing, shipping, and lovingly creating all of these different raw materials, building blocks for you. So you're already using the top finishing components, but we all know the majority of the beer is this.
Right.
It's your cereal. You're making oat juice and your oatmeal juice and you're boiling it. That's what you're doing.
It's true.
That's true.
So use really good grains.
So they hired you as a salesperson, or?
Wait, I know. What is exactly your title? I'm sorry.
I don't even know anymore.
I love the.
Dude, I'm fucking hype right now.
Yeah.
No.
I want to order bags. Let's
Where's
order
the t-shirt
2,000
cannons?
pounds.
No.
I just love the getting back to basics. It's just getting back to basics of how beer used to be brewed like that.
It used to be, you would find your raw materials from your backyard or
Right.
from your neighbor's backyard, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of these styles that were so really hell-bent on trying to master, manipulate, and gain those medals for, because we have these very defined style guidelines.
Yeah.
Okay, those style guidelines were written for 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, and for that specific region. So those flavors come from that specific region. We're dealing with New World hops, New World grains. You can still make these beers, but that underlying fragrance and those esoteric notes that a lot of folks are trying to chase and trying to manipulate through just yeast additives, you're going to get something completely different, but it's going to be uniquely Pacific Northwest. And folks really should be proud about, I'm sourcing all of my materials from my backyard. And you should too.
Yeah. Not just trying to create the BJCP guideline of this particular style. I mean, you can do that too if you want. That's
Absolutely.
Your thing.
If you want to chase
I mean,
medals,
if you want to go
for
that
it.
road.
But I'd rather drink a
But
beer
a
like that.
lot of our current customer base have made delicious beers that have meddled, and because they know what it is to make this beer that particular beer, and it's the soul that you put into it.
Yeah.
Hate is an ingredient. Love is an ingredient.
Indeed.
Wow.
And the original people are still doing it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, grit and graders. email us at cheers@gritandgrainpodcast.com with your comments, opinions, and thoughts on why the Middle Ages men were dicks to alewives just because they brewed better beer.
Yeah.
Transported the beer to the markets and cauldrons, wore pointy hats to stand out in the crowd, allowed black cats to chase rodents out of the grain rooms, and weighed the same as ducks. We read and drink everything we receive, and we try to respond as fast as we can. If not online, then on air. You can subscribe to Grit and Grain on YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. And please leave us a review. Also check us out on Channel 253, and gritandgrainpodcast.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for episode notes, beer news. And have you heard? Everything has a pulse. Everything has a flicker and a tremor of existence, from egg to green label, hamster to docking stations, reacher to power drills. You can pump, kick, and feed into that pulse. Join forces with your help to help yourself, your loved ones, the whole world leap into the higher realms of consciousness, or you can remain kettle sour and small, refusing to celebrate anything at all. You can vibrate high and healthful, or you can vibrate low and pessimistic. What's it going to be? If this podcast is not what you expected, please alter expectations. A cat walks into a bar, streams "You Needed Me" by singer Annie Meowie from Canada, and then hops on the bar stool. The bartender says, "What do you have?" The cat says, "Kitty cat blues, please." And the bartender pours the cat his ale. The cat slowly pushes the glass off the table and meows, "Another." No such thing as a bad time to visit Tacoma. No such thing as too much barley wine. No. Tune in next Friday for more sweet chatter. Cheers.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks, everyone. Amazing.
Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us at Grit and Grain Podcast wherever you get your social media, and catch new episodes every Friday. Cheers.
Get up.
Channel 253 is member supported. I'm producer Doug Mackey, and I hope you will show your support by going to channel253.com/membership and join. Thank you. Grit and Grain is part of the Channel 253 podcast network. Check out our other shows: Nerd Farmer, Move to Tacoma, Interchangeable White Ladies, What Say You, Citizen Tacoma, and Kitchen 253.
This is Channel 253.